This is Control Ultimate Edition. We're here on Xbox Series X, where the game has received a surprising new next-gen update, or the next-gen update to what was a next-gen update. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is kind of great as well. So yeah, Control, the game that just keeps on kicking, I would assume, as we push towards what will eventually be the release of Control 2 down the road. They're just giving us a nice little bump up here to enjoy the game a little bit more than we did prior. Is this going to be a massive change up? I don't know. It's hard to say for the individual, as this is sort of just coming in and uncapping things, and we're going to be kind of talking about, you know, what that has to offer for this game for those that are interested in the experience and, you know, basically the gameplay itself. Control, one of my favorite titles. It was my favorite game of the year for the particular year that it came out, which I can't believe how long ago that was already. But it's something that just kind of keeps getting updated and keeps getting supported and keeps having, you know, sort of things going on in it. And it's just such a surprise to see a game like this get a quality of life improvement so many years on, as you would have figured they would have just kind of moved on from it at this point. And I sort of wish other developers cared about their legacy titles as much as Remedy does when it comes to quality of life improvements. Can I get in here now? I can. That's kind of cool. Anyways, yeah, so first off, there was Control, and then there was Control Ultimate Edition, which is like the next gen version of Control, in case you were wondering. So like this was technically like a different version of the game, if that makes any sense at all to you, because there was that one and then Ultimate Edition. You kind of got the expansions, so there was a couple expansions that sort of fit into the whole Remedy-verse, and, you know, kind of expanded the core story of this, and they're going to be working on a sequel. So you should be careful to make sure you have the right version of this game as well, because that is a factor, since it's not like a direct, easygoing, you know, what do you would call it, next gen, where we haven't had the terminology used in a long time, but like cross-gen type stuff. Yeah, just so that you are aware of that sort of thing. So let's dive in, and we'll just get to the technical details of this. So first up, from a visual standpoint, we have two profiles. We've been playing on quality mode. The game has improved TAA, and we now have HDR, which has been a requested feature literally since this game came out. That was one of the things I remember on my initial review of this game back in like 2019. Ugh. Yeah, it was about HDR. It's like, does it have HDR? Why doesn't it have HDR? And it's like, okay, but now we have HDR. Even with the Ultimate Edition coming out, everybody was like, where's the HDR? And I was like, I don't know. You know, it's a pretty vibrant color range anyways. And anyways, now we have HDR. If you're going with SDR, we actually have improved range from 8-bit to 10-bit. It actually makes your standard dynamic range look a lot better. Or at least the bit range is improved. And then we have the two modes, graphics or performance, and we now have the ability to unlock the frame rate too. So this game features in the kind of graphics mode, so this is like a 30 FPS. So the game, it just seems like they've just kind of uncapped it. So the game, or the option uncapped it, but it was running at 4K, but internally it was 1440p. I'm trying to find you a good reflecting kind of window so that you can see the ray trace reflections, and I am struggling to find that sort of a thing. Usually there's like a good clear window and I could be like, oh yeah, you can see the character kind of going in here. Yeah, see, there we go. You got the character reflecting. Really? Really, guys? I'm trying to do my work over here, you know. You don't come see me come in there and cause problems for your job. So then you could go to the performance mode, and this one was 60 FPS, but it dropped the ray tracing. So you see, like, there's no reflection of the character. There's, you know, it's not a reflective environment. That's kind of the, you know, the thing we're dealing with here when it comes to the whole performance of these modes. But it's quite interesting because, wow, that was causing some problems. Now we have the option to go a little bit further. Oh! I got obliterated there. That was terrifying. Yeah, okay, I was ill prepared for that situation. Is what that was. Yeah, I was ill prepared. This game has such harsh lights, and I love it. Lighting in this game is so fascinating. Anyways, so we now have the option to uncap things. So if we go to performance mode and we bop it up, you actually get over 60 FPS. So you get up to 120 FPS. This is something more for, like, say, I guess you would mention a next-gen Xbox down the road. This would be something that you would, more likely appreciate on a future Xbox console. But for now, you get up to like 100 FPS or something like that, depending on the situation and what's going on. It's kind of a game with like these sterile... I don't know if sterile is even the correct word to really say for it, but it's sort of these, I guess, it's kind of gray. It's kind of like, very office building-like, and it kind of fits the vibe and the universe of this game. But that's sort of the environments you're going through. So they're kind of mostly like tight linear spaces, but the game is filled with chaos because there's like all these things you're throwing and all this stuff gets destroyed and people get like pushed around and all this stuff gets torn up in the environment, and it can actually be like quite demanding from that perspective because there's all these things going on and all this stuff and all these reactive things, and that's what kind of like impacts your performance a bit more on this game. Ugh. So yeah, there we go. So that's kind of what we got for performance mode. We're gonna go back to graphics and we're gonna cap the frame rate again, just so you can see the change of going here. So we've got 30 FPS, and we've got a crash because I don't know if that's because of the game or just my Series X is a depressing console. My Series X is sad. It's sad that it might be the last of its kind. Actually pretty depressing. But anyways, just gonna load this up. Northlight. Remedy storytelling technology. That's weird. I've never had a Remedy game crash before on me. That's a new one. It's probably just a sign of the poor Series X going, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna make sure the audio, yeah, you copyright audio, okay, good. We're just gonna continue along here. But I want to show the progression. It's probably all the stuff going on in the environment. It was just too much for the poor Series X to handle. Yeah, so you can see here, it's like, okay, it's a low frame rate. Actually, wait. Yeah. Okay, so everything's set, graphics, unlock frame rate. So it's like a low frame rate, right? And now we can uncap the ray trace graphics mode, so you can actually see and performance improvement here. Now, this is mostly this is like a 40 FPS targeting mode. So if you're expecting, like a massive improvement here, it's like not necessarily. But I love the idea of 40 FPS targeting modes in the modern era because I feel like it adds that sort of layering of you get the quality and all of the bells and whistles, and then you also get a little bit of fluidity that just feels a lot nicer than just being like 30 FPS. So it's not necessarily like perfect. Like, you'll have some little drops here or there, but it's not a bad way of going about things. So it's definitely worth trying if you have a high frame rate display that can do this, because you need the just to like really clarify on things, like you need a high frame rate display to uncap things. So you need something that does 120 hertz, and then you can do the uncapped above 60 FPS or the uncapped beyond 30 FPS. Just so that your expectations and your knowledge of it is set. So like, yeah, it just kind of feels a little bit more fluid. And this is like a good case study of like sort of a high octane, there's lots of stuff going on situation. So you can just kind of get an idea of what we're dealing with. Running out of things to throw when it comes to the performance of this. Wow, that is not good. I took a real beating there. Ah, no! I really thought she was going to get away that time. So I would probably say, though, if you're coming into Remedy's Control for the first time on the Ultimate Edition, I would suggest playing on performance mode on Xbox Series X. I would give a try to the fidelity mode at 40 FPS just to see if you are fine with it and you can handle it. It's a game that feels really like cool and smooth, and when the frame rate is kind of kicking and stuff, you kind of just like you feel really cool, and I don't think you really like visually you're not necessarily gonna notice things as much, and it's just one of those games where it's kind of like I don't know, it's got that sleek vibe, like style, and it's got that cool vibe, and I think you just get so much out of it when you are kind of playing it with like fluidity and stuff, and it's a great excuse to come in and play this title if you, for whatever reason, been ignoring one of the top games. It's like game of the year basically for its for its year for most folks and stuff. Like it's a really good game. So if you've been ignoring it, now it's never been a better time. Although I don't know if these upgrades are necessarily gonna like draw you in either necessarily, because they are, just kind of uncapping things, almost future-proofing stuff, and just preparing you for, like, say, a Control 2 down the road. But, HDR and stuff's nice to have too, so I don't know, for me it's just like it's really nice to have an excuse to sit here and talk about a favorite game again. Even though I was kind of like, again, a next-gen update to the next-gen update we already got is kind of funny. Like, it's a next-gen update. It's getting quite humorous. But no, I'd love it if more companies came in and, kind of furtherly improved their games over time. Or future-proof their games. That's a big thing I have, too, is, like, a lot of companies, I wish there was a bit more future-proofing going on. Which probably sounds silly to some, but like I like to think more long term. I mean, if there is going to be another Xbox, it's like ideally you would be able to continue to enjoy these games, and if you have something that's like a little bit more limited, of course, the scope is going to be limited, right? Like if you have something that's at a target resolution, it's only going to be at the target resolution, but if you have something that allows it to go higher, you're going to get something better next time you play it on more powerful hardware. And then that's sort of the same thing for frame rate too, right? You get like, let's say above 60 FPS here, and then, on a console down the line, you can go up higher to like 120 for like performance mode, and actually maybe get that lock next time. And that's just kind of the coolness of the future-proofing is future-proofing. But most people are like really, they don't think long term. They're just sort of like, oh, whatever is now is now, and the lack of foresight is always like a little disheartening to see for gaming stuff. But of course, I mean, you want your stuff to run good now, and it's like, oh, whatever about the future. But I'm always thinking of what's gonna come and stuff like that down the road. But I'm also just, I guess, weird like that. Thinking about like the next kind of console and everything, or the next platform, or where you're gonna be able to play your stuff in the future. I think with Xbox too, at the current time, it's definitely worth thinking about what comes next. So if you can play this game, I definitely recommend doing so. And if you can play it, with an expansion, or if you can play it with the extra content, I definitely would say so.
What happened to you?
You don't want to know. And the core game is absolutely fantastic. The mystery of everything, your character coming in here, you don't know what's going on, you don't know what's happening, you're trying to figure out, what happened to a sibling long ago. And that's kind of the journey you go on, as you're thrust into this fish out of water situation where she's not sure what her role is or how she got into the role she got into, and you're just trying to figure things out and sort of survive and make it through and meet different characters and gather up dossiers and things in the environment in order to get a fuller picture of what's going on and what's happening. And
he was right behind me, but
he never showed up on the side. And of course, there's these cool, mysterious objects that enhance things. Wells is the medic.
I'll be fine, really. Roop can patch me up later.
Fine, but I'll be back for you.
I damn well hope so. Just use the motel cord there. It should get you into the clocks. Sorry, the threshold.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Ain't nobody got time to help this guy in a matter of time. But no, you really should have a great time playing it. On the Xbox side of things here, it's like, if you haven't played it yet, this is still yet another excuse to come in and play it. If you had played it, I don't know if you want to do like a revisit already or anything, but it really is quite a good game. It really genuinely is quite amazing. I love it, and I can't say more than enough great things about it. I think it's an absolutely perfect experience and story and journey that you get to go on, and I really think you'll have a lot of fun if you give it a chance and work through it and visit these crazy places and meet the friendly janitor and kind of get another glimpse into the world of Remedy titles and Remedy experiences. They just make such unique, creative games. They really do, and it's just nice that they bump this up. Oh, the fluidity increase is just, yeah, it is quite a change up, actually, bumping up the going into performance mode here. It's like, holy, like, YouTube really doesn't give you the full sort of experience, if that makes sense, because like it doesn't support the 120 FPS, and it's like, it's a bit of a shame because it's like super smooth and super fluid, and you would kind of see that if you had a device that could support it and that, and yeah, it's kind of wild. Like it actually really feels nice and fluid in some situations. Like I'm kind of just like sort of whipping through this, and it's just like, yeah, it's kind of awesome. So yeah, I mean, if you could play at the high frame rate, you'll probably appreciate things. But yeah, you get all these abilities, you get this cool morphing gun, you get to blast things, you can fly, you can augment your abilities and become stronger over time and have all these different like weapon things and then enhancements on top of that. And there's like a whole Kojima mission now and stuff that's available on all the platforms, which is kind of cool. Yeah, they definitely gave you some extra things here, which is kind of nice, and just little improvements here, just sort of a final, I would assume, capping off for this game, and kind of a capping off for Control after so many updates. And it is wild. How can I get through this? It is wild that they have done so much work with this over the years and changed things up so much and added so much stuff, and it really is just like an incredible Remedy experience. I mean, obviously, like Alan Wake and stuff. Like, I can't believe Xbox, like let these guys go and stuff down the road, or didn't want to work with them further on things. It's kind of like, it's mind-blowing is what it is. It's like Remedy really is just like one of those special, what are they, the last, what would you call it? The last, I mean, I guess they technically have like investors and stuff, but they are the only AAA gaming studio that remains that's like independent. The last independent AAA gaming studio, I'm pretty sure is Remedy at this point, which is quite amazing. And I love the titles they make, and I think everything they've done is well earned for their love of. They make such delightful things and such creative experiences, and they give you such cool worlds that you get to visit. And I love the character here and the performance, everything like that is so good, so well done, and it's just, yeah, it is a treat to come back and always have an excuse to play more of this stuff. And I'm assuming this is the last time I'll be taking a look at this until, like a next-gen console, but it really is kind of special to be coming back and being like, oh wow, I get to play a little bit more of Control and get to experience a little bit more and have a great time with it, and hopefully encourage some more people to take a look at it and see what it has to offer, because I think you will be really blown away by this game and its weird, mysterious, challenging, distinct environment that's just filled to the brim with surprises and things to come across. Like, oh, Firebreak? Huh. Yeah, that's funny, especially coming off of Firebreak. Anyways, yeah.